As we near the end of 2022, I'd like to ask you a question. Have you achieved all the goals that you set yourself at the beginning of this year? If you have, my sincerest congratulations. If you haven't, my next question is obvious. Why not? Someone once said, if you do what you've always done, you'll always get the results you've always got. My mentor Jim Rohn said, for things to change for you, you need to change. At his weekend seminar, Mr. Rohn shared 3 simple steps with me that he promised would allow me to have the best year that I had ever had. And so as we enter 2023, I want to share those same 3 steps with you. And that's what this video is all about. 3 simple steps to ensure that 2023 will be your best year ever. And if you stay right to the end, I've actually got a bonus for you that I think will help you achieve that. G'day and welcome. My name's Willem, and on this channel I share the philosophies and the wisdom that Mr. Rohn shared with me over 30 years ago. By consistently applying the wisdom that Mr. Rohn passed on to me, I've been able to live a life on my terms, and I sincerely hope the same for you. Mr. Rohn said that if you want more, you must become more, and that's what this channel is all about. And so in this video, I want to share with you the 3 simple steps. Now, I did say simple. I didn't say easy. They are 3 simple steps that you can take to ensure that the next year, 2023, will be your best year ever. So let's dive straight in. Before I went to that live weekend seminar with Mr. Rohn, I often used to say things were too expensive. When I got to that seminar, I learned a valuable lesson. Mr. Rohn said, it's not too expensive. It's always been too expensive. Let's face the real problem. You can't afford it. And that got my attention. So the very first step that he taught me in order to have my best year ever was this: work out how things work. In other words, if you want to be healthy, you must study health. If you want to be wealthy, you must study wealth. And if you want to be happy, you must study happiness. Until then, I had never realized that if I wanted to be happy, wealthy, and healthy, I had to study how to achieve it. And I never thought really that much about it. But that was the very first thing he said, the very first step: work out how things work. Now, if I could offer you one tip on step number 1, it would be this: get really curious about everything. Become like a child. My granddaughter Charlotte is into absolutely everything, and I love watching her because it reminds me of what I was like when I was young. Adults become too cynical. We stop being curious. We stop wanting to know how things work. Young kids, toddlers, they are into everything because they just want to know. So my tip for 2023 is this: get more curious. My mate Alfredo Pareto, who you may have heard of as the Pareto principle, or more commonly the 80-20 rule, was incredibly curious. In his garden, he found that 20% of his pea pods produced 80% of the peas, and he wondered why. And then he discovered that 80% of Italy's wealth was owned by 20% of the people, and that's how the principle came about. But he would never have come up with that theory if he hadn't been curious. So once you become curious, where do you go to find out how things work? And I've got 3 areas that I think will help. Number 1, observe winners. People that are successful do things in a certain way. You see them day in, day out doing the same things. Often we watch the Olympic Games and we see swimmers, for instance, winning gold medals, and the media hypes them up as heroes. What they never show you is how they were down at the pool every morning at 4 a.m. swimming laps up and down. People that succeed at a high level do things differently to everybody else. If you can observe them and you can copy them, you will obtain the same results. The second key is to listen. If you see someone who's happy, who obviously is very happy with their lives, has got great relationships, has got a great marriage, listen to what they have to say about it. Ask them, what are you doing that results in such a great marriage? What are you doing that makes you so successful in your business? People will tell you. And again, the key is this: success leaves clues. And if you can find out what it is that people are doing that you're not doing, all you have to do is follow their advice, implement what they're doing, you will get the same results. And the third area is to read as much as you can of whatever it is you want to learn about. If you want to become financially independent, read all the books you can on financial independence. And you only need to read probably 3, 4, 5 books, and you will really get all the knowledge you need to become financially independent for the rest of your life. When I first started my business, I had to learn about sales. Sales is the key to all businesses. Someone once said, nothing happens in business until someone makes a sale. So I thought I'd better learn how sales works. And so I got this book by Chet Holmes. This is probably one of the best books on sales I have ever read. And in here, he describes about developing a list of your dream 100. Come up with a list of 100 dream clients, people that you would like. Now that one idea alone that I got out of that book has made me hundreds and thousands of dollars. Because rather than just selling to everybody, I was very specific as to who it is that I wanted as a client. And so reading in whatever field you want to learn is so critical. Now, you know, people say this all the time. You've got to read books, you've got to read books, but you do. It's part of my morning routine. I read every morning in an area that I'm interested in. So I can't really emphasize that one enough for you. Please read in the area that you want to learn. Now, step number 2 is this: go to work. Once you know how things work, you've actually got to go to work. If you see a great idea, like the one I mentioned from Chet Holmes about a Dream 100, take massive action on that idea right away. That's what Mr.Rohn recommended to me. He said, take massive action on a good idea. Don't go, oh yeah, that's really interesting, and then keep doing what you've always done. Nothing will change. So take massive action on a good idea. You must have a plan if you want to be successful for each area of your life. I can't believe the number of people. I was only talking to my neighbor here not so long ago, and she said it's amazing that people are now spending 6 figures on weddings because everybody's trying to outdo each other on Instagram and social media. So they're spending 6-figure amounts on weddings. Do you know that people spend more time planning their weddings than they do their marriages? And so it's no great wonder that often marriages end in divorce. You must make time to plan your marriage. You must make time to plan your health, and you must make time to plan for your financial independence. Now, once you have that plan in place, it's got to become part of your everyday life. There's no use having a plan, having it sit on the wall and not taking any action on it. It's got to become part of your everyday life, part of your everyday habits. I always remember Mr. Rohn saying, don't let your learning lead to knowledge. You'll still be broke. You'll still be dumb. Make sure your learning leads to action. You can become wealthy. And step number 3 was essentially a word of caution from Mr. Rohn. He said, don't try to beat the system. And you see this all the time. There's a plan in place, there's a correct way to do it, and then people try and take a shortcut. It never ever works. You can't beat the system. People try and people fail. I run a commercial cleaning company. We employ a lot of cleaners. Often we'll give a cleaner, say, 2 hours to do the job. And if you do 2 hours, you can get the job done comfortably, the client's happy, the company wins, you, the cleaner, wins, and the client wins. But guess what I often find? You give someone 2 hours, the cleaner will try and get it done in 1 hour or even less. It just doesn't work. Now he's out of a job, the client's upset, and I've got to replace the cleaner. So don't try to beat the system. You've got to do the hard yards to get to your destination. You've got to do the work to get the results. Okay, let's go to the bonus. In the comment section below, you will find a link, and that link will take you to a PDF where I have listed my top 10 personal development books of all time and my comments as to why I believe you should consider these for your library in 2023. So that's just in the comment section below. If you click on that link, you can have a look at that and have a look at those 10 books that I believe are critical for everybody's library. Now, you recall that in step number 2, I said you must have a plan, and I'm not going to give you a plan for health because I'm not a nutritionist or a doctor. I really can't give you a guaranteed plan for happiness. I think that's a little bit different for everybody. However, I think finance is one area that you must have a plan with. Now, if you're interested in the financial game plan that I've put together, that video is available up here. You may want to have a look at that and create yourself a plan for financial independence in 2023. Thank you for taking the time out of your life to watch this video. I truly do appreciate it, and I hope 2023 is enormously successful for you. Now go out, take those 3 simple steps to make the next year your best year ever. You will thank me later.